Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So the transfer window now is officially shut. It shut about an hour ago. So on this video I'm just going to give you a review of our summer transfer window and all that, and I'm going to also give you an update of what teams what teams players they have currently signed. So Arsenal, they've just confirmed the signing of Kieran Tierney for £25 million from Celtic. They also confirmed the signing of David Luiz. They also got Nicolas Pepe in last week. They also got Daniel Ceballos on loan from Real Madrid. They got William Saliba. So Arsenal have done a really good business in this window. And obviously we do know that Arsenal started the window. Well, they did start the window really bad when it was open. They only had a tight budget. They only got around 40 or 45 million pounds to spend. So Arsenal have done really good business in this window. Now you've got Tottenham. I think they've just confirmed the signing of Lo Celso. I think they've got him on a long season loan with the obligation to buy. Obviously Tottenham had been in for him, for the majority of this summer. I think also Tottenham are set to confirm the signing of Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham. They also smashed their transfer record for Tanguy Ndombele. They also got Jack Clarke from Leeds. So you can say Tottenham have done a pretty good business as well. Obviously Manchester City, I think was it yesterday or was it today, confirmed the signing of Joe Cancelo from Juventus. I think so yeah, teams have done good business in this current transfer window. Obviously you got the likes of Juventus, that did really well in Italy. They did good business, throughout the course of the summer. Real Madrid, they did really good business in Spain. Obviously, they spent around £300 million on 5 players. Atletico Madrid did very good business in the current window in Spain. I think Leicester did make a couple of signings as well. I think they signed didn't they sign James Justin or something like that? I think they also signed Perez. They signed Yori Tillemans did Leicester. And I think, yeah, so quite a few teams, made some decent signs, but I think, Arsenal did very well. I don't think Liverpool got anybody, they invested well in the previous couple of windows, so I don't think they signed anyone. Like I said, Man City signed Joe Cancelo. Chelsea obviously couldn't make any signs because they can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows and that. But, analysing my club, Manchester United's summer review, it hasn't been to the best, let's be honest, but you've just got to blame the board. You've also got to blame Ed Woodward, to be quite honest. And I did literally say at the start of the summer, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the signings that he does currently want, you can say that the board have let him down, because the board did assure that there was going to be backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer. We ended up getting 3 players on the board. We spent £148 million on Daniel James, on Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. But a positive is we got that experienced centre half in that Manchester United of course did want. I've still got I've got element of concerns in that midfield, because we are lacking in that midfield. So obviously in January we're going to have to focus on bringing a couple of new additions in that midfield. Obviously we're going to need to look for a replacement for Romelu Lukaku as well in the January window. So obviously that's very imperative. But our midfield isn't good enough, because you've got Matic. He's too inconsistent. He's aging up, and he's too slow. Is the man Matic, and like I said, I've just got so many strong reservations about him. Pogba, don't get me wrong, he's world class. We have seen glimpses of his best form at Manchester United. But obviously if Paul Pogba does get injured this season, I think we're in serious trouble. We've got the likes of McTominay, Pereira, and Fred in that midfield. And don't get me wrong, they did really well throughout pre-season, but I'm still very sceptical of course, if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United. I do believe McTominay will get his chances this season, Fred will get his chances this season, Pereira will get his chances this season, but I just don't know if they've got all the attributes to succeed Manchester United. So I've got concerns about that current midfield. But like I did say, if Paul Pogba gets injured, I think maybe we won't get top 4 this season. But if Paul Pogba and that can remain fit, maybe we've got a chance of getting the top 4. Analysing our current squad now, I think it is good enough for the top 4 finish. Our current squad, it's not good enough yet to win the league, so I'm very sceptical about Manchester United winning the league. I don't think we'll win the league, to be quite honest here, in the next couple of seasons. But I think our expectations this season will be to finish in the top 4. Maybe win some 2 and that. But I said we've got big ambitions for the future. Obviously that's want to get back to winning trophies. This is obviously something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to bring back to the football club. But actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference, you know, was to get our transfer business completed, you know, by the time we initially, you know, went out on pre-season. But analysing our squad, you know, we've got quite a few upcoming players. You know, we've got some fringe players. We've got a lot of experienced players, and obviously they're more or less, you know, they'll all be given the chance this season in the Premier League. And obviously, every majority of the squad, you know, got their chances, you know, throughout pre-season, because we did do well throughout pre-season. You know, 6 wins out of 6. Obviously, you know, 12 goals scored, only 3 goals and that conceded. So we did really, really well throughout pre-season. But like I did say, I think Arsenal are going to have a better season this season. I think Tottenham are going to have a really good season this season, because, you know, they've invested more now. Obviously, you know, Tottenham, you know, before this window didn't do any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, and obviously Pochettino's overarching view on it was obviously the end of last season. I think before the Champions League final, he did say if he isn't back this summer, he threatened to resign as a Tottenham manager. But I think maybe we will finish 4th this season. Obviously, we do want to get qualification for the Champions League this season. Obviously, last season we missed out on it, so we're not in it this season. So obviously, last season we finished 6th. We failed to qualify for the Champions League. But I did say certain players may have reservations about coming to Manchester United and all that, and it's not always easy to get your number 1 targets and all that, especially, you know, when you can't offer any Champions League football. But Solskjaer believes we'll be aiming for further than 4th this season, because he was talking about our ambitions the other week. Don't forget, you know, we can't do any more incomings now because the transfer window is shut. No Premier League club now can do any incomings, but we're obviously all the clubs in the Premier League have still got until the 2nd of September to negotiate the sale of players. So now we'll be focusing on the outgoings of players. You know, we're also focusing on the game against Chelsea on Sunday. Obviously, you know, the first day of the Premier League, the first game of the Premier League season. Obviously, you know, the Marcus Rojo situation. Obviously, Man United are basically desperate to sell him. Obviously, following the arrival of Harry Maguire, I think, you know, we are keen on offloading at least one central defender, because obviously, you know, we've got a lot of central defenders in that. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice central centre backs, you know, this season, you know, obviously, you know, will be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof and that. So obviously, you know, Smalling and Jones, you know, probably really, you know, won't get the chance in that this season. But yeah, we've got around 7 central defenders now, and obviously Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've currently got at the moment. You know, Lindelof is progressing. You know, Lindelof did really, really well in his 2nd season with the football club. You know, we've got Eric Bay. You know, he's obviously injured now. Obviously, he's out till up to Christmas, I think, with a knee injury. But yeah, you know, Marcus Rojo, obviously, he said before. Well, my previous video I did. It takes time to upload videos. I actually did that video at 4 o'clock, but it actually taken until when, you know, the transfer window shut until to currently upload and that. But he said initially that Rojo had been linked to a move to Everton. Obviously, you know, we was demanding around £25 million and that. I think Everton had, you know, been in discussions and that. I don't know if they was willing to meet the £25 million valuation. That obviously reports emerged out earlier on this week that, you know, we'd rejected a loan bid from Everton for Chris Smalling and that. But Rojo, you know, can still go to a European club. I think it's very imperative that Manchester United do offload the player, because I still think there's problematic players at the football club anywhere that do, you know, need to be currently sold. Rojo, I think, has been at the club around 4 or 5 years. I think he's got 2, or is it just under 2 years remaining on his contract. I think he's made 72 appearances for Manchester United, you know, in the Premier League, you know, since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon. But Marcus Rojo's Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. I do believe we also need to get rid of Darmian, because, you know, Darmian's one of the problematic players at the football club. You know, Darmian, you know, hasn't really been given the chance. Obviously, he's surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, now, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, we've seen 4 players depart the football club. Obviously, as it got confirmed, you know, today, Romelu Lukaku has left Manchester United and he has gone to Inter Milan. Obviously, you know, Inter Milan got him for around, was it £73.7 million or something like that, with add-ons included. Well, you know, there's variations. There's actually, you know, variations in different, you know, media outlets. You know, there's different type of quotes, because some are saying it's 73.7 million with add-ons included, and some are saying it's 77 million with add-ons included. I do believe there's also a selling clause included in the deal. You know, dependent on how you know, Lukaku performs and that over Inter Milan. But, you know, we've generated a substantial amount for the flop basically, so it's actually, you know, very, very good business. You know, that, you know, we've got Romelu Lukaku off our radar and that. Obviously, you know, the news broke out yesterday. Obviously, you know, that that Inter Milan's third bid had been accepted by Manchester United. Don't forget they recently had 2 bids turned down. They had a 68 million bid turned down. They had a 54 million pound bid turned down a couple of weeks ago, and that. But obviously, I think Inter Milan, it's obviously now Inter Milan's most expensive signing because it is their record signing now and all that. But Antonio Conte now has got his number 1 target. Obviously, Antonio Conte anywhere had been a long admirer of the player. So, like I said, it's a shame that we didn't get a replacement for Lukaku. This is why I would have wanted him to go to Juventus, to be quite honest with you, because obviously, we could have got Dybala and that as part of the deal. But instead, I think now the money we've generated from Lukaku's departure, we'll keep that in his back pocket, and obviously, we'll save it until January. But the targets, we was in for, throughout the course of the transfer window, when it was open. Probably, we'll revive our interest in them targets back in January. So I think we'll go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. We'll also go back in maybe for Sean Longstaff and that in January. We may even revive his interest in Christian Eriksen and that in January. So the players that we were linked with throughout the course of the summer that we didn't get, I do believe we'll go back in for them in January. But I did initially say it was going to be hard for us to address all the problematic areas in one current window. But for me, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently been back to say we didn't have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. Discard that we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and say we had the manager to the highest level with a good pedigree and all that. I still think they would struggle with this current Manchester United current squad, without a shadow of a doubt. And Arsenal have done better business than us in this window. Tottenham have even done better business than us in this window. And like I said, analysing our recruitment policy, it's not very, very good, especially in the last couple of windows. We didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get our number 1 targets last summer. But I don't think we won't win the league this season, but I think we could, finish in that current top 4 and that. But yeah, we can still currently sell our players. With Paul Pogba, I know he's a world-class midfielder. Obviously, he's got until the 2nd of September, to finalise his move to Real Madrid, because we do know for the entirety of the summer, he's been linked to move to Real Madrid. I do believe Real Madrid have offloaded a couple of their players. And I think they've generated around £100 million for their departures in that. Obviously, Real Madrid were in for Christian Eriksen. I think Real Madrid's actual first choice preference is Paul Pogba over Christian Eriksen. But like I said, we said wanted around 150 million for Paul Pogba. Again, we'll generate a substantial amount if we do offload the player. Solskjaer said he's confident that Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for this season. Obviously, Solskjaer did reveal that he's considered Paul Pogba for the captaincy at Manchester United. To try and convince him to remain at the football club. But he's been heavily linked to a move to Real Madrid all summer. He did confirm, Paul Pogba, that he does want to leave the football club and all that. But it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to build a side around Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he came out quite a few weeks back and he said, that Paul Pogba, wants to leave Manchester United and all that. But like I said, if Paul Pogba gets injured this season, if he is to remain in the football club, I think we are in serious trouble in that midfield. But it's a shame we didn't, couldn't get a midfielder. And I don't analysing it anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years. I don't like the way the football club has been run. But like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. £148 million under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and this has only been his first summer as Man United manager. We spent just under £400 million under the Jose Mourinho era on 11 players. Obviously we spent an extortionate amount under the Louis van Gaal era. He brought players like Di Maria in, he brought Depay in, he brought like Martial in, who's still here. He brought Luke Shaw in that. Luke Shaw's a very imperative player for Manchester United. So he brought quite a few players in, Falcao, Morgan Schneiderlin, did Louis van Gaal. So we spent a lot under Van Gaal. We only spent £6-7 million on David Moyes here, and I think reflecting back under the Alex Ferguson era, a substantial amount was spent because obviously Ferguson was a long-serving manager at the club. He stayed around, was it 26 or 27 years? Obviously it was 26 and 27 years success in that. But I think Ferguson must have spent over £700 million in the years he was at Manchester United and that. So basically, I think around £968 million has been spent in the football club since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But I do believe, including the money we spent under the Alex Ferguson era, we've definitely spent over £1 billion on the team. But obviously, we want to get back to winning trophies now. We want to get back to winning trophies. Solskjaer wants to build a squad worthy of the club's mystery, but we want to get back to winning trophies because obviously we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. Obviously, that came in Alex Ferguson's last season. That's over 6 years ago now. And when we did win the Premier League, for the final time in 2013, which, well, last time we won it actually, by 11 points. But we had a great team under Alex Ferguson's generation, and obviously hopefully this team can replicate what the team did under Alex Ferguson. But like I did say, I'm very, very disappointed. I'm happy that we got the experienced centre half in. I'm very happy, that we got the right back that we needed in, but I'm just disappointed that we didn't invest in that midfield. And I do believe Solskjaer had been given a substantial amount to spend. It said obviously, before the summer started, Solskjaer was going to get around 200 odd million pounds to spend. And now I did initially say that was enough for around 4 or 5 players. Solskjaer did initially confirm at the start of the summer he wanted to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. But we've only got 3 players, so obviously, there's still areas where Manchester United, of course, are lacking. Obviously, Premier League season back now. Manchester United go up against Chelsea on Sunday. Obviously, it's going to be a tough encounter, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Chelsea appointed Frank Lampard earlier on in the summer as their new manager. Whether he will succeed at Chelsea or not, I do not know. Obviously, as the traditions of Chelsea Football Club, because obviously, he played for them for around, 13 years. Did Frank Lampard? He played for them 13 years. Did Lampard? I think he's their all-time leading record goal scorer with 211 goals. He's Frank Lampard. He hasn't really got the experience of a manager, really. Obviously, it was only his first season last season in management, and obviously, with Derby, I think he did actually get Derby to the playoff final. Did Frank Lampard? Obviously, Chelsea sacked Maurizio Sarri. Obviously, I think it was at the end of last season. Chelsea last season, obviously, won the Europa League, so they've got Champions League qualification for this season. Obviously, they did get to the Carabao Cup final last season, but obviously, lost to Manchester City. Also, Chelsea lost Eden Hazard as well, and obviously Chelsea can't find a replacement for him because obviously they've got a current transfer ban and that. I think Chelsea, of course, have got a few injuries. I think they've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek out the month. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi out. I do believe they've also got Rudiger out as well. So Chelsea have got quite a few injuries. I think the only injury we've got, I think, is Eric Bailly with that serious knee injury. I think Paul Pogba's recently been injured. This is why he didn't play against AC Milan. I think Fossil Mento and that's been injured. Demetri Mitchell's been injured. So actually throughout pre-season, there was quite a few players there that didn't play, throughout pre-season and all that. But we did really, really well throughout pre-season. After Chelsea is Wolves away. Wolves will be also a difficult game because Wolves did pretty well last season. Nuno Santos done a pretty good job. Wolves finished 7th last season. Out there in the Europa League this season, Wolves, if you finish 7th, I'm sure you do get that qualification into the Europa League. But yeah, we've got to have a better season this season. But I have seen the vast improvements in the Manchester United squad. I have seen the vast improvements in the Man United squad. Because I was analysing the games throughout pre-season, and we do look much better in that attacking third of the pitch. To be fair, we do look much, much better. We've got that pace there now. Up front, you've got Daniel James with electrifying pace. Daniel James is still a prospect, and he still currently needs time to develop. You've got Rashford and that with good pace. You've got Martial and that with good pace. I think Martial, should be playing more centrally this season. Because he seems to fulfil that number 9 role really, really well. I know he primarily plays off the left, but he looks more effective centrally, as it did get proven throughout pre-season. But Rashford and Martial, anyway, can both play outright. They can also both play centrally. And you've got Mason Greenwood now, that's upcoming. Obviously, he's going to be given more chance this season, which is fantastic. Only 17 years of age. You've got Chon, of course, that's the upcoming future. But I was impressed with the young players anyway, of course, throughout pre-season. But more or less, everybody, will currently get their chances this season. And like I said, we have got players on big contracts. Like I said, we've sorted the contracts out now because at one point, that it was a problem. Was letting far too many players' contracts run down. But we've obviously now addressed that current problem. But like I did say, I'm happy with the signing of Harry Maguire and all that. I think he's going to do really well for Manchester United. He should be giving his debut this Sunday against Chelsea. Also, Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, they should be giving their Premier League debuts this Sunday. So Solskjaer's got an indication of what squad he's going to go with on Sunday against Chelsea. But as we have got a good squad, but I just don't think it's good enough at the moment, to win the league and all that. And like I said, we've been lacking silverware for the last 6 years. We haven't really won much. We won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. Won the Europa League and the League Cup under the Jose Mourinho. That obviously came in Jose Mourinho's first season. But like I said, we're a massive club with massive revenues, and we have got a lot of money because we're one of the richest clubs in the world. Don't forget, we have spent a lot of money on players, especially in recent years. We've just paid 80 million for Harry Maguire, our most expensive defender in the world, also our second most expensive signing. We paid £50 million for Wan-Bissaka. In recent years, we paid 89 million for Pogba. He's actually our most expensive signing. We did pay for Lukaku 75 million as well, but obviously now he's gone to Inter Milan, so we've generated the money back. Obviously we bought Di Maria back in the Louis van Gaal area. He's one of our most expensive signings, so we have got a history of spending big on players and that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I think, you know, the board have let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer down because, like I said, he didn't get all the players that he did, you know, want in and that. But like I said, Man United, the preview for the Man United Chelsea game will either be coming up tomorrow or Saturday and that. So you know, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on there with that. But for me, I think this season Man United will finish in the top four. I think who's going to win the league this season? Probably between Manchester City and Liverpool again, you know, like it obviously, you know, was last season. You know, Liverpool did pretty bad in pre-season, but, you know, pre-season basically now is meaningless. I think we'll get in that top four. I think maybe, you know, Arsenal, you know, will finish in that top four because I did say, you know, they invested really, really well. There's actually, you know, been fundamental changes at Arsenal because, you know, you still get Arsenal fans, you know, they're not happy, you know, the way that their club's being run. Obviously, you know, they've got Stan Kroenke, you know, that, you know, never really invested into the club, and you can see where the Arsenal's infuriation is coming from. But, you know, they've, you know, done really, really good business, you know, to be fair to them. I didn't think they'd done that well. You know, didn't they get David Luiz for £8 million? They've got Kieran Tierney for 25 million. You know, how much? I can't remember how much they got William Saliba from you know, St Etienne. Nicolas Pepe, I know they paid about £70 million for him. He's going to be really good signing for Arsenal. He did really, really well in France with Lille. But like I said, there's just certain players now Manchester United need to sell. Like I said, Darmian needs to go, Rojo needs to go. With Sanchez, obviously, he's going to be staying at the club this season. We tried to get rid of him, don't forget, throughout the course of the summer, but obviously, you know, based on his substantial wages, you know, the club found it very, very difficult to get rid of Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, and that's there's nothing much really more to say. Luke Shaw obviously will continue being our first choice left back this season. You know, he won the double play of the year last season, reflecting on his impressive performances. Nothing really much more to say. But I've got an idea, you know, of what team, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to go with on Sunday anyway. So we will see about that. So that is my review of this, you know, the summer transfer window. Obviously now we're going to have to look in January, you know, to get a couple of more additions in the squad. So like I've given you an update, I've given you the latest news about Rojo. We can still sell him to a European club. Obviously I've given you the news about Darmian. I haven't really read up about Darmian, to be quite honest with you. Obviously the big breaking news came out earlier on about Lukaku. He's gone to Inter Milan now, which is very, very good. I think Matic needs to go, even though he isn't, because he's too inconsistent. I even initially said Smalling and Jones need to go, because they're going to find it hard to get to game time this season. And Alex Tuanzebe, I think he will remain at Manchester United following the injury of Eric Bailly. You know, some Manchester United fans have said maybe we should consider offloading, loading out, you know, quite a few young players, you know, to gain them a bit more experience, and maybe some people think it will be beneficial for their future and that. But for me, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man. I will back him at Manchester United. At the end of the day, you know, he's a club that he knows inside out. He knows the traditions of the club. You know, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, when Solskjaer was younger, you know, he managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched from this team at this day and age, you know, grow and develop and that. And obviously he's got a bit of experience as a manager, not really to the highest level. You know, he did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde. You know, he only had a short tenure with Cardiff. You know, he did well in that 3-month period, you know, when he, of course, was the interim manager and all that. So, like I said, still quite a bit of work, you know, needs to be done in the squad. But then we need to focus on now the current outgoings. So, basically, we've generated 70-odd million for Lukaku's departure. We'll put that, you know, we'll save that until January. And obviously, if we can sell Rojo, you know, we'll generate more money for that. If we can sell Darmian, we'll generate more money for that and all that. And if we sell Paul Pogba, obviously, you know, we'll get a substantial amount for him. But now, obviously, you know, with us not being in the midfield, we're obviously going to want to keep Paul Pogba more now, because when Paul Pogba's at his best, you know, he's like two players in one, without a shadow of a doubt. But like I said, at the moment, City is strides ahead of us, at least a couple of years ahead of us. Liverpool at least a couple of years ahead of us. I think Man United and Arsenal are sort of on the same level, but now Arsenal might become better than us, you know, because they've invested more than Manchester United this summer. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.